Wow, and welcome again to Diversity is the Game Changer. And you can already see my smile and you can feel my radiant vibrations, of course, because look at my guest. We already of course, in the flow, in vibe, we already want to shine and share all our gems with our audience. So today, welcome to Diversity is the Game Changer. I'm very, very happy to present my beautiful inside out guest. Her name is Carol Vaughn Rivera. Welcome to the show, my darling.
Thank you so much, beautiful, for having me on the show. I'm so glad we finally get to meet face to face.
Thank you so much. It's big, big pleasure for me and honor. Like I have already mentioned before, we actually press this tricky button record, but we try not actually even put it in our mind. So yes, that the most important actually commodity we can give to each other in our very, very hectic, stressful time, it's actually time in the
Hmm.
attention, and be fully present and be fully authentically. So yes, the most important, we are human, we have fun, and of course we are two creators. We love creating, and creating is always, it's nothing one thing actually as the thing you have already created, right? It's always something new. And this is
Yeah.
so beautiful because it's always something new. And actually, even you have the best imagination in your head, how it should look. For me, when I create, at the end of the day, it always look completely different. Anyway, so we keep it flexible. We trust in God and in the process of the trust
Absolutely.
in universe. Anyway, I would like to make a short introduction because I can make it long because she's diversified and talented. But I don't.
Mhm.
I want to shut my mouth not because people who is following my podcast know that, oh my god, I still have those problems. I am not good at listening. That's why now I try to be disciplined, intro you, and give you the stage. So the episode title Sustainable Elegance and the Power of Diverse Design with Carol Bon Rivera. Welcome again, where we explore the voices, visions, values that reshape in the world from the inside out. Today's episode is for the change makers, creators, and the conscious leaders. And I couldn't be more excited to introduce our radiant guests. Meet Carol Van Vaughn Rivera, right?
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Co-owner of Star Rivera magazine, a platform that captures the brightest human moments through soul-stirring interviews and stunning visuals. Founder and brand owner of Vaughn Rivera, a fashion label known for its eco-conscious elegance and sustainability ethical innovation. A bold entrepreneur, designer, a visionary. Carol is on a mission to redefine fashion not just by what we wear, but how we think, create, and include. Thank you again and welcome. And I'm trying
Oh,
to shut my
thank
mouth.
you. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
But what is your glasses, my love? I
Yes.
know
So,
you are making glasses. Please, please. That the proofs
okay.
in the studio.
So I have these. Uh,
Uh-huh.
hold on.
Ooh la la, I even put the glasses because I knew we would be today in a glass show. Oh wow, look at it. Oh,
Yes.
oh my God. I'm dying to come to New York and have photo shoot with you,
I'm gonna send you a pair. How
and
about that?
you can put all, we can actually we can body paint a bit and you can put all your glasses on me. You can create installation. Perfect. But let's now we actually start with your story. And childhood in identity, the roots of resilience. We know that today, how we think, how we perceive information, what we are creating and giving to the world, all that starts from one thing,
Childhood.
childhood, right?
Childhood. Yes.
And
Hmm.
little Carol, yes, Carol. I love this name because it's Carol of the Bell. It's Ukrainian actually Christmas song, which make me so warm around my
I love
heart.
Christmas too.
Yeah. So, what can you please take us to the experiences of this little Carol princess, and how did upbringing influence the this beautiful Carol we are talking today? Thank you. And I'm like, oops. You
That's
talking now.
okay. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so I am the baby and the only girl. Uh, I have three older brothers. My brother next to me is 14 years older than I am. So my parents, they waited a long time to try to have a daughter. So, I had three older brothers that took up a lot of time with me. Two sweet, very loving parents, very supportive. And as a child, though, like family life was perfect. Uh, School, I'd say like around elementary school, fourth and fifth grade, I used to get bullied quite a bit in school
Mm.
because I was very quiet. Um, I used to be really skinny, super skinny with very long hair, had braces, had glasses at the same time. So I had to hear the jokes about, oh, braces, you got like train tracks. That was like a joke the kids used to say, train tracks, 4 eyes, having
Yeah,
glasses.
I know.
And it made me like be really, I was kind of very, very quiet in school. Like around fourth and fifth grade, it was hard to get me to talk. For the teacher would always be like, okay, what's going on? And so one day, I broke down and told her what was going on. And so she corrected that problem, So moving on to about when I got to like sixth grade, seventh grade, started like opening up, making new friends. And, you know, I came out of my shyness a lot more, then you couldn't get me to shut up in school. you know, I talked so much. And yeah, so, you know, I had a great childhood. I did. My brother, like I said, my brother's being older than me. Sometimes I found myself playing by myself a lot. And I think that's where the creativity part comes in. And, I would just make up characters, play by myself. My mother would be like, who are you talking to? But, I really think that has something to do with it, because I didn't have any siblings right there with me to play with. You know, I know I'm going backwards, but I'm talking about like when I was playing with like dolls and things like that. I think that had a lot to do with it. And I would make my own jewelry for the dolls, you know, things like that. And so, um, yeah, so, then as I got older, till about 14 or 15 years old, um, two of my brothers were in production. They owned like a couple of nightclubs. They had showcases, and so I started getting interested in modeling.
Mhm.
So my brother's like, would you like to model for in one of our showcases? I'm like, sure. So that's when I came up with the idea with fashion. Like I would, every year I would go audition. Of course, I had to audition because it wouldn't be fair for them to just put me in their, event because I was their sister. But I was able to start modeling and really getting into that. And then, you know, high school, graduate, go on to college. Aviation is my background, first background. I went to school to be a pilot.
Oh wow, aviation. Oh my God,
Yeah.
what are the fashion aviation? Oh wow.
Yeah, so I went to school to be a pilot. I studied I have, I got private certified, but I had to do an emergency landing and I was never right after that. I said, "Okay, I can't move on with flying a plane." I mean, I still fly all the time, don't get me wrong, but I'm like I can't continue to do this. So, you know, I moved I was from okay, so I'm originally from North Carolina. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I turned 25, I moved to New York City. So then I
Mm-hmm.
started acting school in New York, went to HB Studios, downtown Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started back modeling again.
Uh-huh.
And, I started doing music videos and things like that. And then I ended up having a passion for aviation again. So I went on to be a flight attendant. So I was a
Okay.
flight
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So I was
Cool.
a flight attendant for Spirit Airlines for about a year. I did that for about a year. And then I'm trying to give you an update on how many things
Cool.
how
Cool.
many
Cool. I
things
love
I
it. I
went
love it.
through
Just continue.
that I went
How
through
you
to
one
get
day how you
here.
can keep me silent because
Right.
then I'm really enjoying. So you just said I silent.
So so I went on to the flight attendant, and then I actually left being a flight attendant about 2 months before 9/11 happened.
Mm-hmm.
So the World Trade Center bombing. So
Yeah.
and I actually got a job working down by the World Trade Center 7, which is one of the ones that was affected, by the yeah. So
Oh.
luckily, yes, 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 yes,
No way. Oh my
yes,
God. I have
yes.
goosebumps. Oh my
I know.
God.
So luckily, about a week before I had a new job, I left the World Trade Center right before this happened. About a week before, I got another job in Midtown Manhattan with a firm. So I feel like God really spared me.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to. I wasn't down there. Like I literally left a week before the World Trade bombing. So I
Oh.
moved on to um, working for an investment firm, in Midtown Manhattan, and did that. And then I got my real estate license. I was doing real estate part
Mm-hmm.
time, so I was working in real estate and with investments. And finally, I'll never forget the owner, the CEO of the company, because I used to love to dress up to go to work. Like how you look right now, I go to work like this I go every day. And he used to ask me, when are you gonna go either back into fashion or, TV or something? He said, but you don't belong here. And I always thank him for telling me that. He's like, you do not belong here. You need to be doing something with the
Creative.
camera or something. He basically told me you're wasting your time here, and I'm like, thank you. So, long story short, in 2009, I formed my brand, Vaughn Rivera, and I did my first shoe,
Uh-huh.
and it was just a test. I got just one shoe mold made, and I said, okay, I like this. I think I could actually get into doing this because I love shoes. Like I'm a big fanatic for shoes.
Uh-huh.
And so I did the shoes and
You're like Carrie Bradshaw.
yes,
Yeah.
I love shoes. Oh my God, I'm a shoe fanatic. I am.
How
And
many
so
pairs do you have? Have you counted them?
over 300 300 pairs of shoes. Yeah.
In New York City.
Well, no, I live in North
Do you
Carolina
have
now.
place in New York City?
Yeah, I used to live in New York, but I moved out in
Uh-huh.
2020. I live in North Carolina now.
Yeah, because you have 300
And
pairs of shoes. Of course, there is no brainer.
it's funny because the CEO I'm telling you about of the company where I used to like to dress up to go to work, he used to tell me, he goes, because that was living in New York City at the time, he goes, you must have an apartment just for your shoes.
Just for the shoes.
I said,
Oh
no,
my
I
God.
don't. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I moved down to North Carolina in 2020, back to my hometown. I'm from a small town called Reidsville, North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, okay, I was able to still work remotely from New York here, and then I went on and formed the eyewear. So I started shoes, like I said, in 2009. That was just me playing around with it, and then I had a big passion. I love sunglasses. I used to buy glasses on the street all the time,
Mm-hmm.
besides the high end, luxury ones. And I would always coordinate my eyewear with my clothing or my shoes. And so people would be like on the subway, they'd be like, oh my God, miss, your glasses, they match your shoes or they match your bag, and I really didn't really think much about it. I'm like, you know what? It's an accessory. Like how you
Yeah.
have you have right now. It's perfect. It's like having the right earrings, so I
Mm-hmm.
said, I think I do have a love for eyewear. And there was a young lady I used to buy glasses from all the time in New York, in Harlem. And I made a connection with her again after moving down here. I said, are you still doing eyewear? And she said, yes, I am. But she moved to Mexico during the
Okay.
pandemic. She moved to Mexico in 2020. She said, I am, but so she moved to Mexico. She said, but I could still send you some eyewear. I said, okay. So she shipped me some eyewear, and I'm like, wow. That's when I got the idea, like maybe, start customizing or doing something really serious with it. So fast forward, me and her did a test run with it. She did a few for me. I took them to Italy. I have a friend who has a boutique in Florence, Italy. His name is Valentino.
Mm-hmm.
So I took some to Italy and put them in a boutique out there. By the way, just so everybody can hear, they are available in Italy as well. Um, Amo Boutique is the name of the boutique in Florence,
Miss,
Italy.
we will put it in our post so that people
Okay.
go. And thank you so much for uh,
Yes.
this
So,
information. Yes. Mm-hmm.
okay.
Continue.
So that's when I got really, I said, well, I do have something here because they started selling in the boutique like
Yeah.
right away. And I was like, okay. So then, that was in July 2023. So by August, though, me and my first designer, I had to move on. We kind of had like a disagreement about something. So I had to find another designer to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I met the next designer. Her name is Gloria. She's from Texas, very talented. And, we went on to do like a big order. And I did like New York Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm.
And, did a fashion week last year in 2024. And we've had a great working relationship ever since. And then I also have another designer, which is my neighbor and very good friend, Madeline. She's actually a very talented, she's all over the world, a body painter. She does body art. She's very, very,
Oh
very
my God, you
talented.
see, I already mentioned, I had no idea. I already mentioned that when you and me, we can meet each other, you can use me as a canvas, body painting, and just put all your glasses. Oh my God, I had no, you see? Wow, God
Right?
is talking through us. Oh my God, this is
Yes. So
awesome.
Madeline is very talented. She does a lot of my designs also, and she paints on the glasses. Beautiful. She does her own artwork on some of the glasses. So, you know, that's when I'm like, okay. So I've been rolling with it ever since. I started the eyewear in 2023, and fast forward,
Are
been.
you still in shoes or just glasses
Yes,
now?
I have shoes as well. Sorry, I didn't bring them with me, but yeah, I do have shoes. You can find them on my website. Vaughn-Rivera.com is my website, or
Okay.
I think it's on my Instagram page as well. But
Yeah.
yes, I do have shoes as well, and yeah. So
Amazing.
fast forward. That's the eyewear and shoes. That's how that came about, and then when I did a fashion show back in 2024, Easter, I flew to New York. I got invited up for an Easter fashion show in Union
Mm-hmm.
Square.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I met my photographer. Well, that's how I met. I'm saying photographer first.
Yeah.
Now he's like a brother, and he's also my business partner. He co-owns the Star Rivera magazine with me. And the way that came about is just amazing. So we met in March. He started doing photo shoots for me. He was like, you know what, send me some glasses to New York. I do photo shoots every week. I'll put some glasses and shoes on some of the models I photo shoot with, and you won't have to worry about how you're gonna get, anything
Promotion.
done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he did that literally every week. He got us published at least 60 times. We like every week he was getting in magazines were publishing us. It was amazing. So I think it was like July. We were talking about how many times we were getting published, and he said it. He made a joke about it. He said, "You know, we're doing so much with like sending so much stuff in. We could probably start our own magazine." But he said it as a joke, right? And then he laughed about it, and I said, "Yeah." And then that was like July. So then by September, I came back to him. I said, "Okay, so are you serious about the magazine?" He was like, "Yeah," but he really, he thought it's kind of like as a joke, but he looking at me like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yes."
Uh-huh.
So I reminded him again in October. He said, "Yeah." So then I said, "You know what? He thinks I'm joking, so I'm gonna show him." So I went to Fiverr and found someone to put together just a small 3-page magazine and
Yeah.
showed it to him. And he was like,
Wow.
wow. And that's how Star Rivera got started. We just did a test run with it. And then we took it, learned it. And now me and him do everything. We produce the whole magazine together. We don't have anybody outsourcing anything. We put it together ourselves. And that's how it started. We put our first issue out in November.
Wow, what a story. I love this story, which you got the evidence. I even could stay silent couple of minutes, so, but really, it's so cool that you're so diversified, you are so bold, you are so open to, um, and you have been the whole life. First of all, I'm so glad and blessed to hear that your childhood and upbringing were so blessed, and it was unwavering support by also parents. And I understood that you had a very nice brothers, but maybe this age differences, they put you in the circumstances. You had to be creative. You had to
Yes.
play with yourself, talk with yourself, right? And because you were the only girl, so
Right.
and came to the puzzle beats and
Yes.
actually help you to evolve, to develop, to this amazing artist you are today. And it's so cool that you tried so many different domains, and
Right.
actually at the end of the day you were so bold again, uh, to follow your heart path and your calling,
Right.
because now many people unfortunately, they are in that, circumstances that they know maybe they are not satisfied with their jobs, but because of the burden of a lot of commitments, big family, especially New York, it's very expensive place to live, right? So
Right.
they want to change something, but they can't, or they are not, um I don't know, brave enough. It's a lot of
Right.
things. Unfortunately, many people, they just follow the path that they have to, they must. But I'm so happy
Right.
that you were so open. You could, I'm sure, sit in the silence one day. It was not like just one guy came with this real estate company, said, you should quit. You are so creative. But first of all, you have to sit and talk to yourself. Okay, right,
Right.
right for
Right.
me. Should I
Yes.
make these changes? It's a very big decision. It's very brave of you, because to say bye to the kind of actually secure income, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very big decision, and to swim into the ocean of unknownness, it's also, it's a very big step.
Yes.
But
Yes,
i'm
it
i'm
is.
hope, yeah, and I hope, and I'm happy to know that then God, he knows, he understood that it was your calling, and that's why, you've been sent this brother photographer and all this help, all these good people, because we know, we believe in God. This is not coincidence, right?
That's right.
Absolutely
This is
not. When
God.
you're on the right path, so right,
Alignment, right? The right
yes, and
alignment.
exactly.
Yes.
Amazing. Then we're coming to the next stage, which also just very, very open debriefing about diversity of thoughts and creating inclusive spaces. It's already, you have mentioned that you, by being a role model for open to diversification, you already have been through so many different activities, and then of course environments, right? And
Yes.
especially creative people like you and me, we, it's kind of, it's our domain. Otherwise, how you actually can create something if you cannot be so diverse in your thoughts and imagination, right?
Right.
So as both a media, uh, fashion visionary and
Hmm.
innovator, right? So
Right.
what does actually mean diversity for you? It's not like, we're not talking about labels, because I know in America now a lot of stuff like backlash, the DEI, all that stuff. I'm not talking about that part at all. I'm just talking about how was your approach the whole life to actually be, I know exactly, being yourself diversified, but actually to diversity and inclusion and diversity of thoughts. Yes, just very openly, very like, you know anything you actually is coming hit in your head now, just right now. So please share. Nothing like, you don't need to be specifically, oh, term of diversity or something. Just, you know uh rich stories about us being creative, being different. And I do believe this is actually how we actually can be born, because fashion, right, and art,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's the most inclusive and diverse thing that can unite us. But I would like to know your reflection about that. Thank you.
Okay. So let's see. All right. So you wanted it basically. I'm trying to go make sure I get this right. All right. So you want my input on diversity in fashion, in what I
Yes, it
do.
can be yes, it can be fashion and creation, exactly what you are doing now and have been like called to do the whole life about, yes, diversity of thoughts, diversity of, I don't know, brains, characters, and creativity. Let's put it like this. Then it's very relevant to fashion, right?
Right. Okay. Um, so I always like, as far as like my intake, my input, like as far as being creative. Can you pause this?
What do you say?
Can we pause this for a second?
Yes, 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 of course.
I'm so sorry. I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing about
Yes, yes.
diversity.
We are recording again, and my we had to stop a little bit because, like we said, we all would like to show that we are human, and for me also like a big dog lovers. So I actually sometimes also do my podcast with my Chanel with my dog. Then so I my question was and my concern was about your input about how diversity and creativity in fashion are aligned. Let's put it like this.
Okay. All right. So, once again, like I have my own style. You know, like my glass, like I said, once again, I always feel I like to accessorize. I think I like to match a lot. Like everything has to match for me. Um, if I have on, like how you have right now, like if I have on a pair of green black glasses, I would have to have like some type of green shoes or green
Mm-hmm,
purse.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um, always have to make sure, like, just color coordinated. I got that from my mother. My mother is a very color coordinated person. When I think about when I pick out like this, stones for glasses, I always think about, something has to match. Like everything has to go together. Um, yeah, I mean, let's see. Just want to make sure I talk about everything. Um, and I would try to make something for everyone, like
yeah,
I try to make
yeah,
something casual, like,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
everybody's not gonna want to wear something with fancy stones all the time.
mm-hmm, yeah,
I think about, the lawyer that's going to the office, or someone that's just going to the supermarket just to grab something. I try to make it diverse for everyone.
mm-hmm.
Um,
So like you
yeah.
actually your brand is very inclusive. It doesn't exclude anybody. It's very nice that actually you make it so diverse that actually everybody can find what they like because you make it so diversified. You make you so unique pieces piece by piece, right? So it's actually how
Yes.
take care about diversity to keep things very unique,
Right.
just one and one. Yeah.
Right.
Then it's about also
Sorry.
sustainable approach to be diversified, to be diverse. It's very sustainable choice because just one piece, it's not fast fashion like you can find tons of the same pieces, right? So just one
Right.
and it decorated. It's very sustainable approach. I do relate. I do appreciate very much what you are doing because it takes a lot of patience. It's very bold in our world because we have a lot of over massive productions of these chains with very, I don't know, competitive like cheap prices, but then we know it causes us climate, it causes us pollution, everything, and we all
Yeah.
have to be committed about sustainable fashion, about maybe one piece but really unique piece, right?
Right. Absolutely. And that's what I look at when I look at sourcing. That is very important to me about, you know, the sustainable. It's very, very, very important. So that's what I shop for.
Yeah, amazing. Can you tell a little bit more about this, your conscious, eco-conscious and sustainability, like you said, how you take care of that? So
Hmm.
you're looking for special products that are sustainable.
Yes, I do. When I go into sourcing and looking for manufacturers, I'm all that's like top priority. It's the first thing I look for. um and if they pass what I'm looking for, then which they have, because I've been working with these same companies for since 2023. you know. Um, and we video, like how me and you are doing right now, we video conference each other, and they let me see what they're doing, how they're doing it. So I've
Hmm.
learned a lot. I learned a lot about how they, you know, conscious, and yeah, it's been great. And then, I have the products shipped to me, like I said, I have to have them manufactured. And then I have my two designers, then they do the rest. They do the artwork and make them beautiful.
Yes, amazing. Tell us a little bit more about your magazine, then how it's going on with the progress, and what is the maybe next milestones, dreams, projects, uh, people you have already featured and you're going to feature. So yes, tell just more about magazine.
Well, I'm waiting on you
Ah, you're waiting on me.
because
Perfect.
you
Oh
have
my god.
helped me. Listen, everyone, this lady has helped me so much.
Oh,
You've
thank you.
helped me so much in such a short amount of time, and I really appreciate you. I
Thank you.
really do.
I just I don't know. I felt immediately just from couple of sentences, words like your good heart, your values, because you and me, we know in fashion, accessorizes, modeling, you've been there through so many years, are quite competitive industries in the main, maybe
Yes.
even more competitive than others. And
Yes.
of course, we do still have people with good values, but somehow, I don't know why, I never prefer to back down, to talk down or behind somebody backs, but somehow it's a little bit more difficult to find really people with good values. It's so
Absolutely.
competitive. And I always try to empower, to help uplift other people, particularly women, because
Yes.
we still do struggle. We still look that syndicate of haute couture last years, right? If
Hmm.
you can study last development like 50 years, 80% of haute couture fashion um, stylists and couturier, them males, right?
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
and you know, and they don't include new names, unfortunately. It kind of um, monopoly now, and we know that. And this syndicate, it's another story again, not talking bad behind somebody, but we still should be concerned, ladies. We should help each other, we should uplift each other, we should
Yes.
empower each other, because just us, we can do that. And for me particularly, I'm at this stage of my life that I always get so much happiness if I can help, if I can share my knowledge or contacts, networking. It's not like I can be responsible how this third part can behave, but
Hmm. Hmm.
sometimes I do really see the best in all the people, and I try to connect. And sometimes actually I even get feedback like, who you could put me up with this person is not your left. But I still do believe, even we are humans, we are making mistakes, but anyway, we don't have to stop helping each other. It's how we
Right.
thrive, it's
Right.
how we make each
Exactly.
other happy. Otherwise, why we should live? Come on. Otherwise,
Exactly.
so I'm so happy that I can help you. And it's even, it's always like, it's energy. Everything in this world is about energy. It's
Yes.
when you
Yes.
give it, you get it twice. So actually, by giving, it's not like the selfish stuff. I'm not doing it for myself, but I know
Right.
how gratitude works, how love, care, and kindness
Absolutely.
work. When you share,
Yes.
you get multiple times back.
Yes. That's right. That is so true. That is so true. Yes, you have helped um, your friend Minerva. I'm so excited. Her feature should be releasing next weekend. We gave her the cover of our June magazine. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. She is so talented. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for introducing me to her. Um,
She's my
she's
best friend,
amazing.
and we've been talking
Yes.
now with this lady 5 minutes before we started podcast
Hmm.
about her, because through her actually we get connected, right? And I'm so blessed. She's my best friend, Ekaterina or Minerva. I'm so always honored, blessed, and also the beauty of her heart and soul, which is radiates through her art. Because I do believe it's everything about balance and
Yes,
alignment. You cannot produce something so beautiful if you don't have this beauty inside. It
that's
doesn't work
right.
like that.
That's right. It's true.
So for me, I'm so happy one day we can meet and create all together, because now the 19th of June, she is having a big fashion show in Buddha Bar in Paris. I will be her ambassador.
Oh, wow.
And of course, one day I hope we can host you. You're more than welcome to Paris, and we
I
then
am.
find absolutely the place for you to
I
stay,
will be
guaranteed.
there. I will be there
Thank you so
next
much.
year.
And we also plan and then maybe to do something in New York, and then we can do all together, right? So we can also
Absolutely.
collaborate on that, my darling.
Absolutely. But I am coming to Paris. I plan on being there. You have a show in, is it February next year? Fashion Week? I can't
You
remember.
know, Fashion Week, it's Paris is all the time. Some Asian Paris Fashion Week, Couture Fashion Week, or just but actually official Paris Fashion Week, it's twice, right? The
Mm-hmm.
official now it's in October,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's February.
In
Yes,
February. Okay.
it's February, and then in between, so usually some Cannes Festival again. It's also important milestone. And Ekaterina, you see, she's so talented. So people also help her and me, including all the way, to have even more
Mm-hmm.
opportunity, because her collection, her masterpieces like yours, maybe we can not, maybe we can do also very nice
We're gonna
collaboration.
collab, right? Do a
Rises, of
collaboration.
course. That's how I mean. We have to create all together. This is such a beauty of being together, inclusion,
Absolutely.
diversity, right? Thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much, my
Absolutely.
love. So, and last question I would like to ask, and I know I gave you a little bit homework, but this is so important advocacy for me, because this podcast was in the birthplace due to this subject, and it's neurodiversity. And I would like to elaborate and just to raise awareness every time I'm talking with people, that many people now, especially we, are experience very much stress every single day, political
Yes.
situation, and people's neurodivergence, which is new. I like this term. I discovered it not that long ago myself. Before
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh, these sick people, odd people, awkward, us and them. And I've been 15 years neurodivergent. I have OCD and sometimes really, really severe episodes. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, I know some people now they joke, oh, I have OCD about that. And it's also fine, because every time we just actually open and talk about, even in the jokey way, it's better than we actually have taboo and not talking at all. But I
Right.
mean, people like with ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, autism, all these spectrum conditions, they are very much influenced by the everyday's life we have now, right? So we have
Yes.
to be concerned. And many young uh, many young individuals, people, teenagers especially, also they are so, I feel like, overwhelmed. So much information, so much because of social media,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So,
Right.
and many of them actually are neurodivergent, have ADHD or OCD, and many of them are not identified, but it doesn't mean they are not. So I mean, every time I use all the possibilities through all the platforms to raise awareness, to
Awareness.
advocate,
Mm-hmm. Right.
I already, I believe it's very important for us. So I know, me, I'm nerd, so I gave the homework for you, and now I would like just to hear a little bit about your impact after you've been reading on this topic, and just your, reflection about that in our daily life, how we should care about these special people, how can we create more inclusive environment. Yeah.
Right, right. Because I did read up on it. I see it says it could be very lonely. You know, people could be very lonely, having being neurodivergent. I'm
Yeah,
mispronouncing it. I'm
different.
sorry.
Yeah, cognitive, they cognitive differences. Yes.
Right, right.
Or you can see people on spectrum, or yeah,
Right,
or unique people.
right. Yes, very. Yes. Very smart. Most people are very smart. They just think differently, from what I was reading up on it. Um, you know, like I know someone that has they were I'm sorry. I know, hold on. Which one was it? I'm sorry. It came to me because I know somebody's related to me that was diagnosed with it, and autism. I'm sorry, that's what it is. Autism.
Yeah.
Autism. It falls under that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, you know, and they were like, okay, my child is autistic, but the child is so smart, like a math genius. Really, like so. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be looked at as like being negative. Like, a lot of people that fall under the umbrella are very smart, very creative. It shouldn't be like, oh, okay, this person, is artistic or
Mm-hmm.
has OCD or they shouldn't have to feel lonely. They're very creative, very smart, just like everybody else. That's how I feel. Like it shouldn't be categorized like is something wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. Just
Thank you, darling. Thank you so much. Yes, we all should be. I believe we have to practice empathy muscle every day. Practice, because in the world we experience now, and especially me, I'm Ukrainian. You know, war situation, and yeah. So empathy, it's and gratitude. It's like must for everybody. We have to start every morning, and I do believe teach our kids in school, like also at least one special subject should be empathy and gratitude. So
yeah, but like look at you. You said you have LOCD, whatever, but you're brilliant. Like it's nothing wrong. Like it
thank you,
shouldn't
thank
be categorized like it's something wrong. Like oh you have OCD. I mean you're brilliant, beautiful, talented. You know, nothing wrong.
thank
You're
you so much.
perfect. Yes.
That's why I'm so happy that I'm blessed by the way that God, He's talking to me by giving the best gifts and sending people like you, like Minerva. Now I'm traveling and looking forward to this trip because I'm meeting new my friend. I will put you in connection with her also. She's also fashion designer and she's
Oh
making
wow.
beautiful garments and also accessorizes hats and purses. So we can also make beautiful collaboration when you're in Paris.
Yes. I look
Absolutely.
forward to it.
So yeah, that's why I mean the beauty of our staying together, being together for
Yes.
each other, supporting each other,
Yes.
right? It's how
Yes.
we should really not just survive but thrive by uplifting each other. So I'm so grateful for you
I'm so grateful
and
for
to
you
you
too.
for being with us today, for your beautiful story. Oh my God, I love aviation and real estate and fashion, and but the most beautiful, yes, all that aligned in your beautiful soul with real deep values, and I
I'm s-
can
I'm
feel it.
sorry I got a little bit tongue tied because I get like that when I'm in interviews for some reason.
No,
I have a
no,
little bit of
you're talking
anxiety
beautiful
whenever
time.
I'm in an interview. Whether I
You
don't
should
know. I
not be
always.
absolutely up. You deserve great. You yourself. Oh my God, this is the most important because, like I've started, you that nobody should be like the same and like who said what is what which interview is the best. The best
Right.
how like it's like Buddha said. One time disciple was asking Buddha, what is the best practice? And his the best practice you do.
Right.
That's
Right.
it. The best intro you have given because you're human. It's so beautiful. You can show that we are all diverse. Because maybe
Right.
somebody can sit and speak. I also experienced like continuously. I even cannot put one word between. Then also, and yeah, this is true.
Right.
See,
Right.
actually, yesterday I had this very nice show with one brilliant mind with the researcher with nanotechnology. And I could not put. I wasn't really. I'm sorry. Can I ask one more question after half an hour?
Right.
But the best practice you do, Buddha said. So So thank you again, Carol. I'm so excited to meet you. First of all, to give you a
Yes.
hug, to say you're the best, do because you're so unique. I do appreciate you being you. You understand?
Thank you.
Thank you, my love. So Carol reminds us sustainability, uh, conscious choices, which you are brilliantly presented, being bold, open, and of course being also open to new opportunities and make a network, right?
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
everything about mindset, inclusivity, and compassion for both people and the planet. Thank you so much for us. So, and to my audience again, don't miss this inspiring, warm, deeply thoughtful conversation. I will put the information in my post where you can find the brilliant fashion, um, which is Carol and her beautiful designers are creating, and of course, the information about the magazine, which already the next edition will be about Minerva, our best friend, and then will be your servant, your humble servant, Valeria. Yes. So thank you so much, and please always reach out to me if you have any question about my guests, if you have any wishes, maybe especially wishes for design. Me and Carol, we will be very happy to know that you liked our episode and our art and everything what we are trying to do for you. So thank you so much. Stay bold, stay great, and until next time. Bye bye,
Bye.
darling.
Bye bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Have a beautiful, blessed day.
You too. Have a blessed
You
day.
know, actually, before that, I forgot also. I always plan before wrapping up this little magic story or fairy tale. I call her my vice president, this Aladdin genie lamp. So before we actually closing, I was asking about one wish of my guest. Um, if just right now you could make a wish for this magical lamp, it can be whatever you want for you or for people you know, for you of humanity. It doesn't matter.
Hmm.
We can wrap the episode with your beautiful wish.
Okay. My beautiful wish.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish that everyone in the world could be at more peace and love for one another.
Yeah. Thank you, Mama. And
More.
this I don't need to add anything. So beautiful. Peace and love.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm journeying.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Until bye bye, my darling.
Bye, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Thank you, love.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.